Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Thanks for being here today. We are here to kit down the Gilded Serenity by Mirthful Diamond Paintings. I hope you guys enjoyed the pan over. I also have a short on this painting that is stunning. Some people have asked me if I used filters on the short. I absolutely did not. That's how sparkly this painting is. I honestly don't know how to use filters on YouTube, so yeah, you'll either have to take my word for it or not believe me. So there's no filters on that short. It's just, this painting is unbelievable. And what I did was I put the painting out in my front yard, so there was sunlight as I was going over it. So it's just, what you see is what you get. Unbelievable. So I am an affiliate for Mirthful Diamond Paintings. You guys can use my code DPCOCO10 for 10% off of your purchase if you'd like. The information is always in the description below. So yeah, with that, we're gonna get started putting her away. I need to free up some space. I'm so glad that I was able to do that. So I want to talk about the painting. Look at all of these drills I have left over. That's awesome. Okay, before I get started, let's put these in some sort of order. I have talked about in some of the whipping chats that I did with the Gilded Serenity, I talked about the, let's do it, no, we gotta do it this way or my brain won't work. This is a special, so I'm gonna put it over here for now. You might not be able to see that, but you will in a minute. I talked about how well the drills fit together. So obviously it's a square painting. Now all of her paintings, you can choose square or round. So I really like that. So if you see one that you like and you're like, hey, I don't do rounds, there's an option. You can also opt out of the toolkit if you don't want a toolkit. So it's really nice. Anyway, the drills are amazing. Very, very high quality. I had very little garbage. There was garbage, but I had very little garbage. You know, it's again, the dark colors, the 939, the 310. I think the 939 on this one, I had the most, why is it so dirty? I had the most garbage on. Let me take out all the specials here. But the drills fit together so well, you guys. There was no crowding, there was no popping. Everything was so straight on that canvas. I would love to take credit for all of it, but let's face it, you know, you can be the best diamond painter ever, if that's even a thing. And still, if the drills or, you know, there's something wrong with the canvas, you're still not going to be able to get it how it should look. It was a joy to work on. So I will say this particular canvas, if you don't like, there are a lot of colors. As you can see, there's quite a few. It's not as grayscale as it looks. I think I talked about that in another video as well, but it looks very, very like gray, white, you know, but there are a lot of colors. There's metallics. It's just, I loved it. I think it is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful picture. Oh, this goes over here. We have a lot of specials. Beautiful picture, absolutely gorgeous. And it rendered So nice. So nice job, Netta, if you're watching. Nice job. You did good, girl. You did good. And I ordered another painting from her. I'm excited to get it. I should be receiving it soon. I don't know. I haven't even checked on it. So I should do that. I should check on it and see where we're at. I'm just... Okay, yeah, those specials, I'm not even going to put the specials over. I was just deciding, should I? No. Yeah, so I have another painting coming. And I'm looking forward to that. It's a very beautiful canvas. Again, another gorgeous canvas from her. So yeah, excited about that. Obviously, I will... Oh, hold on. Okay, that was my son. He is home. And it's 11:30. He never went to work today, apparently. So he just went and ran some errands. And got like, oh shoot, and got, let's see, 5. This is 5. He got, Kaylee's birthday cake. So, got that, and I guess we're doing it tomorrow, so that'll work out good. We're just gonna do cake with them and presents. I just got her a couple little things, you know. I mean, I showed them to him. He's like, oh yeah, no, that's perfect. I'm like, okay. It's hard to buy presents for stuff like that, you know. It's your son's girlfriend. It's like, well, what do I get her? Danielle. So he didn't go to work. My husband went to work early. It's like upside down backwards day, I guess. Okay, let's see. We're getting there. Getting there. Okay, now we're on to the 3000s. I hope you guys are working on something fun. There's some events coming up, huh? Yeah, there's some events coming up. Are you guys doing any of those? Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do an event or not, because I kind of already picked out my next painting, as you guys know. Okay, what's next? Oh, we have a 33. Okay. Oh, we have a... No, that's 30, 37 and a hair. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do any events. I know events are like a big deal and stuff sometimes, but I don't know. I don't want to commit to anything right now. I'm kind of really bummed out. I think I've told you guys, my doctor, I've gone to him for, oh, don't forget these. I've gone to him for like over 20 years, easily. I mean, yeah, over 20 years. And I just got a letter from the doctor's office, yesterday that he is retiring, and I'm really worried about it, because let's separate these ABs, and then we have metallics, and then we have fairy dust. Okay. Let's do the ABs first. So we have pink, 963 is right here. Can you guys see? No. Okay. I'll bring it up there. Well, here, let's move you this way. Come with me. Come with me. There we go. Okay. 963. I think I can fit a little bit in these, and then I might need another bottle. Oh, you know what? I should get I think I'll get the bottle funnel. Oop, we've got some that are stuck together right there. Bottle funnel. A couple people have asked me where I got this bottle funnel from, and I honestly do not remember. There are so many on Etsy that you are bound to find one of these bottle funnels. So I don't remember what Etsy shop I got this from. It was a while ago. So, but anyway, my doctor's retiring. He's leaving at the end of the year. So we have until like December to go see him. And actually today, that should be one of my things to do, is make an appointment. I want to try to get as much as possible in these bottles. But I'm just really nervous because he knows me. He knows my mental health issues. And I'm just really, really scared because I feel like my medication has finally been dialed in. And it's as good as it's going to get. Obviously, you know, medication's not going to cure you. But my medication's not going to cure me. But I'm just really scared to talk to another doctor about it because, oh, these come off so nice. That makes me so happy. I am still going to have to do Goo but I think that's from a prior project that I was really lazy and didn't do. Okay, 550 should be here. Yep, it is. But he knows me, so every time I go in, you know how you have to fill out that, like, how do you feel, you know, are you sleeping, you know, I can't say it on YouTube, but, you know, it's I can't remember what the thing is called, but you have to rate it, like, 1 through 3, 1 through 3, 1 through 4. I should know this. I do it every time I go to the doctor's office. Everybody has to do it, right? Don't you guys have to do it too? It's like a mental health evaluation, but in a short form, right? And it's like, I'm always, oh, maybe they don't. I'm always like all 3s or all 4s or whatever. Okay, well, I got lucky with the first one. And it could be because there's stuff on the things already. Okay, gray. Gray is going to be under here. Oh, no, wait, gray is going to be, where? Yeah, I had to move down to this one, right? Yeah. He knows, like, how I am. So when I fill out that form and I'm all 3s or all 4s or whatever, he knows, like, he knows me. He knows that I have a really good support system at home. You know, so he knows, hey, she's going to feel like this. Like, this is normal for Raimi. It might not be normal for Jane, but for Raimi, this is a normal score. We know this because she's been like this for the last 20 plus something years. Oh, wait, I'm not done. Okay. Those are ABs. So we're going to do fairy. I can guarantee you I do not have a lot of this fairy dust. Can you still see me? Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to be doing a lot of bottles here, you guys. So the first one is, and these aren't even, do I have these in color? Yeah, I do. Okay. 823. I do not have that. Right? Well, wait, is this fairy dust? Let me just make sure this is fairy dust. Yeah. Yeah. And this is glitter. Right. Okay. Let me grab some bottles. And I'm scared that this new doctor is going to change everything and be like, okay, let's reevaluate everything about you. All your medications, have you go back. Sorry about the noise. Have you go back, see another psychiatrist, you know, and I'm not, you guys, I'm not going to do that. I've already told my husband I'm not going to do that, which I'm sure makes him very scared. And I don't mean to make him scared. I really don't. But you guys, I can't deal with it. Like, I can't go through this again. Like, I just can't. I spent so much of my life being in absolute misery. And finally, when I was 40 years old, finally, I was diagnosed. They experimented with several different types of medication before we found the right combo. And I mean, that took years. Y'all, that took years. Why do I... Okay, so I don't have these in any color order. Got it. Okay, right, because I don't have enough. I definitely... Do I not? Okay. 3863. No. Nope. 3863. I spent years going to therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, being on different medications, trying different methods, CBD, DBD, DBT, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and I can't remember what number am I? 3863. Okay. And I've done it all. I have done it all. Yoga. I mean, everything. I freaking had one woman, this was a psychiatrist, tell me I should take salsa dancing, and that would help me. That would cure me. And I wouldn't need to really take medication if I did that. Woman, maybe you need to go to the hospital. I think there's something wrong with you. Maybe you need your head examined. But I feel like I'm just over it. Like I can't, I'm so scared that that's going to happen. And if that happens, basically I have no options. I'm scared to tell this doctor how I actually am. But if I don't tell her how I actually am, then... Oh, okay, I don't have... Okay. That's why it's missing. That's why. Okay, and I don't want those. I want these. Right. Oh, it's gone on that one too. So you need so many sets of these. I'm telling you. Okay, here we go. Right. I don't have it. No. Okay. If I don't tell her how I'm actually feeling, or how things really are, then my medication won't be correct. But if I do tell her how I really am, I'll just give you a brief example. There was a new nurse. I don't know if she was just like a temp or whatever. And I went in because it was weird. They put me like in a totally different room and stuff. So I was like, okay, I think this lady's new or whatever. Because it wasn't even like his office or one of his rooms. I had never been in that room before. I don't have a 550. Okay. So she started, for some reason, instead of having me fill out the form like they normally do, like now they've even gone to like where it's just a marker that can be like erased on the board. Like it's just kind of like a, I don't know, a grease pen or whatever. But for some reason, she was asking me the questions and asking me to answer them out loud and rate them, you know, score, do the score thing. And so I'm so used to filling out the form. I'm so used to being the way that I am. So I'm answering her questions, and she literally stopped like on the third or I think it was the fourth question. And she said, "Do you need me to call an ambulance?" And I said, "What?" I was so confused by that question. I was like, "What? No." And she goes, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Because I can call one right now. It's okay. Just tell me if you need to." And I'm like, I'm totally fine. Like, people don't know how to deal with this. And I have unfortunately had to learn that the hard way by being passed around through the system like a guinea pig, until I finally found people that were like, no, 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 here's what we do. You're going to be okay. We're going to take care of you. And I am just, I'm scared, you guys. I'm scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm really, I'm scared. So I think I am going to make an, let's see, 7/12. I'm going to make an appointment and see if I can even get in with him now. I probably can't, because it's probably already booked up because everybody got the letter. But I'll try to get in and just ask him, you know, hey, what's going to happen? You know, this new doctor, like, do you know anything about her? Like, does she understand? Because see, these are medical doctors. These people do not deal with mental health. They deal with, I have a runny nose and a fever. My arm hurts. You know, there's something on my toe. You know, I have a cough that won't go away. They don't deal with, like, you know, mental health issues. That's what psychiatrists are for. So they don't know what to do. They basically have you go to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist dictates your medication to the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, you know, good to go. I know what to do now. And when you go in, you know, I go in for med check all the time to just make sure that everything is okay. And I do that through my doctor, because you wouldn't go through the psychiatrist to do a med check. So, I mean, some people might, in the system that I'm in, I go to my doctor. So, I don't know. Everybody, it might be different for every, oh, this is, okay. Oh, I bet this is 310. Yeah, it is. Okay. Wait. Do I have this in the wrong? Why does this not, this isn't metallic. This is, wait a second. Hold the phone. It's this one. Okay, so 001 metallic is 317, in case anybody was wondering. Okay. But why these do not look, I don't know. 310 is so weird. Like, it almost looks like this is AB. But so I don't know. So I freaked out last night, and I told my husband, I'm like, well, should I just stop taking, like, my meds? Because I might have to be prepared to do that. And just try to not be on them. I don't know, you guys. I don't know what to do. Probably shouldn't do that. Please don't ever do that. I'm not advocating do that, you guys, okay? But I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm scared now, and I don't know if I'm going to be properly medicated, and that's going to be a big problem. And also, I don't want this doctor to freak out like that nurse did and be like, oh no, do you need an ambulance? What? Wait, y'all. No. Okay, let's get these out. And I'm just scared that they are going to hospitalize me. That's my biggest fear. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Is that a thing? Like, couldn't my husband come and get... I don't know. It's very scary. I'm very scared. So there are a lot of questions that can be answered. I'm hoping... Oh, I'm out of everything. Okay, I don't have this tawny dark. Oh, okay. I don't have answers. So if I go in, you know, and he could be like, oh, no, don't worry about it. You know, I'm going to leave notes that say, you know, to keep you on, this is going to be on the first page, to keep you on, you know, the medication that you're on. Don't worry about it, you know, and I'll have like lots of notes and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's going to be like that or, I don't know. So I will call today and see if I can make an appointment. How about them beans? Can you see me okay? Yeah. I didn't even look at the cake that Brennan brought in. He's like, can I use your refrigerator? Yeah. And it's a good thing too, because right now, because we're getting ready to go camping, we don't have much in our refrigerator. I'm trying to like get everything out, like use everything, eat it up. We have half of a watermelon in there right now. I'm like, we need to eat this. And I made some tuna fish with my chickpeas. I gotta eat that. So, I need to lose weight, you guys. I've gained weight. Yep. It's a thing. So, I need to get some movement going. I think things have just been kind of chaotic and stressful and weird lately. Abby normal. And that's okay. That happens. Ooh, these... let's see. Oh, that looks like a different color shade. Let's see. Do I have another? No, okay. Let's just see what we got here. Yeah, things have just been flipping unusual lately. Oh yeah, okay, I'm glad I did that. Hey, so how are you guys doing? A lot of you guys have, well, some of you have kids that have gone, you know, back to school. Let's see. Can you see me if I'm, I don't know whether to do this or, what am I looking for? 169. No. Hold on. Kids have gone back to school. They're already getting sick. It's like, oh geez, here we go. I was talking to my girlfriend about just seeing what numbers I have here. Okay. I was talking to my girlfriend about when I was a teacher. Parents what they would do can't believe people are like this, but they are. Parents would like give their children like ibuprofen or whatever and send them to school, right? So within the first, I don't know, hour, like I swear they gave it to them like on their way to school or something, because for the first hour or whatever, they'd be pretty much okay. Like they'd come in seemingly kind of tired, but okay. And, oh, these are, yeah, okay. And within an hour, I'd be calling the parent, hey, you need to come pick up your child. They have a fever, you know, of 101 or whatever. And, you know, sometimes the parents would be like, you know, seriously, like, I'm at work, you know, I really can't right now. I don't have anybody to come and pick them up. I'm like, not my problem. This is your child. Your child is sick. You need to come get your child. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, there were always, you know, I guess there's just always going to be people like that, huh? That are just like, here's the 310, but I do have this bag. So, there's always going to be people like that where it's just like, yeah, you know, I had parents that just were hell-bent on sabotaging their children, and I don't get it. I think the parents just didn't know how to parent. But I would have parents, you know, my classroom was always, I had like bowls full of rocks. I had sticks. I had, you know, that I had found that were interesting. I had bird nests, real bird nests. I had tadpoles that my daughter had found, you know. We did the, you know, whole chrysalis with the butterflies and stuff like that. So I had a bunch of things in my classroom that some parents were like, oh my God, like, why do you have this stuff in your classroom? Don't you know that the kids are going to like throw these? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would kids throw that? It's like, you are setting that up in your child's mind. Not, your child is not thinking, oh, there's a bowl of rocks, I'm going to throw them. That's ridiculous. Children don't think like that. They go, ooh, look at these rocks. I want to check them out. Like, they don't think, I'm going to throw these rocks at somebody. It's so bizarre to me how scared parents can be of their children and their children's potential actions. I don't know. The parents were always the problem. I remember the kids would be totally fine and their parent would show up. Okay, I'm going to need another bag for that just because of the sheer amount that I have. Their parents would come and to pick them up, and immediately their children would start to act out. Like, they would be fine all day, and then their parents would show up and the child would start yelling or acting like they were gonna, you know, hit another child. It was so like not like them to do that, but became a pattern. Yeah, just it's sad. I being a teacher, I dealt so much with talking to parents about parenting more so in some cases, I feel like, than, you know, teaching the kids. It was more about like, I have so many stories. I remember, so the way that I taught was very different from a lot of teaching that goes on in the United States. I was taught in Italy. I learned a lot of teaching the Reggio Emilia way, which is like a social emotional style of teaching, where we teach social and emotional skills to children. And by doing so, it kind of sets a foundation, you know, for them to be able to do all kinds of things, right? Be empathetic towards others. Most of the time, children have that naturally anyway, but it just fosters it more. So I used to have lunch outside as much as possible. I had a very nice quote unquote backyard outside of my classroom that was completely fenced in, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It had a cement area, and then it had like an area that had like bark and stuff. 413 now. Yeah, let's get another bag for that. So what we would do is, and everyone helped, we would take the tables outside. We would take the chairs outside. You know, the kids would help as much as possible. And so we would eat lunch outside. Now, when I say we ate lunch outside, I mean we ate lunch outside as many days as possible. If it wasn't raining outside and ridiculously cold or ridiculously hot, we would eat outside. Okay, it was great for the kids. They already had, you know, recess and stuff like that. But it was really great for the kids to be able to be outside and eat. And, you know, it gave them a whole different, you know, experience. So that's how we did it. Well, I remember one day, now I worked at the college, keep that in mind. So a lot of the parents were students at the college, and some of them even were faculty. So, I remember taking one of my classes from one of my parents. I was like, oh Lord, one of my teaching classes. But, so we were both employees of the college, but I was also a student. It was weird. I would, most of the time, you still have my ID on and stuff. So it looked like, well, I was staff, but yeah, it was weird. But I had so this parent, she knew that we ate outside. She knew we ate outside. It was a thing. Like, I even put out a whole thing about it to let parents know that this is, you know, a thing. You know, I always reminded parents, please, you know, dress your children appropriately. Did they know? I mean, I had parents that like bought their kids like $100 jackets. And then they were like, why did you let my child wear this jacket outside? I'm like, what? Well, it's a $100 jacket. I'm like, how is this my problem? I'm sorry. What? I didn't, oh Lord. But, let's see, what am I looking for? 415. So I had this, we were outside eating, and it was overcast. Yep. It was overcast, and it was slightly chilly. It was slightly chilly. Put it this way, I was not wearing a jacket. I was not wearing a jacket or a sweatshirt. I was wearing a shirt. But when you sat down, it was slightly chilly, okay? So I always gave children options, right? So if it was time to go outside, and I said, okay, everybody go get your coats. Let's get your coats on, right? And the child was like, no, I don't want to put my coat on. I would be like, it's cold outside. It's cold outside right now. So if you don't have a coat, you're going to, you know, maybe be cold. And if they still said, no, I don't want to, I'd be like, okay, that's a choice. You know, it is a choice. It's their body. It's their choice. And I knew full well that if we did get outside and that child was like, Miss Rainey, I'm cold, I would be like, oh, okay, do you want to get your jacket now? And they would say yes, and we would go get their jacket. Big deal. Big deal. Happened all the time. All the time. So on this particular occasion, let's see, okay, here we are, 451. On this particular occasion, we were outside eating lunch. One of the students, I had asked her, do you want your jacket? I just went through the whole scenario like I did. I literally, it was the same scenario. She said no. She was not in a very good mood. She was a little bit tired, you know, the day was getting long, so, you know, normal. And she didn't want her jacket. I said, okay, that's a choice. I always said that's a choice because I wanted them to know they have choices. So I knew that if we went outside, she would probably want her coat. So they're outside and I see her mom coming because, like I said, I had a fence, but you could see through the fence. I could see her coming up the sidewalk and going into the center and into the office area. And then she would have to come around. And she was wearing shorts. To give you an example, she was wearing shorts. Yeah. I remember this specifically because this really pissed me off. So, put this in here. So she comes in. Now, I'm outside with the kids, okay? And I have well, at the time I had 4 assistants, but I always had typically 2 to 3 at a time. I never had 4 all at once. I usually had 2 to 3 assistants with me. So one of my other assistants was out with me because I have 20 students, and by law here in Washington State, you have to have 1 adult per 10 children. That depends on the age, blah, blah, blah. It's a long story. Anyway, so we're outside, and my other assistant is inside getting things ready for after lunch. And she's also facilitating if children needed to go to the bathroom, you know, in and out, that kind of thing. And I hear voices inside the classroom. And I hear someone's voice getting raised. And I can tell by the tone that whoever it is upset. And I was the type of person where if you have a problem, do not talk to one of my assistants unless I am not there. Like, you can go to them and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. But if you have a problem, okay, you need to come to me, because don't take stuff out on my assistants. They don't get paid for that, okay? They don't get paid for that. So, I mean, they just don't. And I'm like, that's just not fair. Ooh, okay, oh, right, okay. This has this color and this color mixed in it. So now I need a bag for this one. Okay. So I said, I kind of peeked in the classroom. I kind of went over by the door because I couldn't leave outside. I was really close to the tables, but I couldn't go inside. So I said, hey, so-and-so that was in with the parent. And at this point, I could tell the parent was, you know, yelling at this assistant. And I said, hey, so-and-so, my assistant, I said, could you come out here, switch places with me real quick? And the parent was like, you know, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, that's why I'm having her come out here just a minute. And so my assistant came out and I went over to the parent, and the parent started yelling. I said, first of all, I said, what I need you to do is lower your voice. I said, there are children outside. And if you're going to be yelling, I'm going to ask you to leave and come back when you can, you know, be more stable, because I'm not going to have disruption like this in my classroom. And so she lowered her voice a little bit. I had to keep reminding her though. And she said, this was her issue. She said, why is my daughter not wearing a jacket? And I said, because she didn't want to wear a jacket. And she said, I want my daughter to wear her jacket every time she goes outside. And I said, I understand that. And now whoa, these are, okay. This is, what? Okay. Can you guys see? This is like green, and this is, like tan, but the sticker's greenish. So I'm almost thinking this is the correct color. Let's see, 524. Now, the parents already knew my method of teaching. They knew that I gave, I mean, they all knew this. Orientation, all of the other meetings we had, all of the, you know, events that we did, they knew full well how I taught. And I said she didn't want her jacket. And so that was her choice to not have her jacket. She goes, well, I want her to put it on. And I said, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, at this point, this is her child. I mean, these aren't my children. She wants her child to wear a jacket. I'm not gonna argue. I told her why. She didn't accept it, so that's fine. So she grabs the jacket and she's just, I stopped her. I said, hey, I said, before you go out there, you need to calm down or I'm going to have you leave my classroom and go to the office. You're not going to go out there in the mood that you're in. You need to go out there calmly and speak calmly. I have 19 other students out there besides your daughter. So she didn't like that. I didn't care. I did not care. At what point during the conversation, she's like, I'm going to go talk to the director. I said, would you like me to call her? And I picked up the phone. We actually had a phone on the wall. Just a minute, you guys. Okay. I had several texts from my daughter in a row, and I was a little concerned. Everything's fine. Yeah, I picked up that we had a phone on the wall. Oh, my painting's crooked. What the heck happened to Miss Equinoctium? There we go. I had picked up the phone. I'm like, would you like me to call her for you and have her come down here? Because I knew full well I would be completely backed up by her. I mean, yeah. Anyway, she was like, no, it's fine. I wish I could tell you this woman's name was Karen, but it wasn't. Oh, and by the way, I have more about this woman. So, we have 550. Just, who doesn't love this color? It's absolutely stunning. Sorry I keep using that word. I don't know what I need to look up more adjectives for beautiful. So she goes out with the jacket. Oh, I wish I could tell you this little girl's name, but I'm not going to. I remember her name. I remember exactly how she looked. Oh my gosh. So she goes out with the jacket and she's eating. The student, her daughter is eating. And she says, so-and-so, stand up. Mommy brought you your jacket. You need to put it on. And she goes, no. And she said, what? And she said, no, I don't want to. And she goes, don't talk to me like that. You need to stand up right now and put your jacket on. And I said, oh, okay. I said, I'm going to have you take this conversation out into the hallway. I said, come on, let's go. I'm like, we're not doing this. I told you we're not doing this in front of the students. So I'm like feeling so bad. And I'm wanting to do something for this child, but it's not my child. It's not my child. I am the teacher, okay? That's one thing, but I'm not the parent. So I said, okay, that's it. You need to take this out into the hallway because we're not doing this. I told you we're not doing this. And so she took her out there and, of course she couldn't get her to put her jacket on and her daughter started crying. She wasn't hurting her daughter. She was just telling her to put her jacket on. And of course she got into a battle with her child, which is exactly what I try to teach parents how to not get into those battles, right? Don't get to the place where you're trying to put out fires. Don't let the fires ignite in the first place, right? Right? I have 20 students. There's no way if my kids got out of control, I could get it back into, control again. So yeah. And so she couldn't get her daughter to wear her jacket. Go figure. She did force her to put it on. And her daughter was crying, came back crying with her jacket on. And the mom sat down and ate lunch with us. A lot of parents did that. They would come in and eat lunch. And in her shorts, keep that in mind. Remember, the mom's wearing shorts. And, oh, you guys, I'm saving that darn drill. Look how dusty they were. I think I used this for heaven and earth and probably ran out of one. Why am I even bringing this out? Oh, right. So yeah, anyway, her daughter wasn't happy. She ended up, after lunch, she just decided to take her home, and I was just like, that's probably best. I didn't tell her that, but it's just like, whatever. So this same parent, and she, again, I'm like, where is she getting this money? Like, she would dress her daughter up to the nine. And I told parents, do not do that. I said, when we are at school, we wear, you know, sometimes it's muddy outside. Sometimes it's raining. We will still go out unless it's pouring down. I mean, we're in Washington State, you know. If it was pouring down rain, we're not going outside. If it's barely sprinkling, we would take towels out, wipe down the slides, wipe everything down, and the kids would be fine, riding bikes, doing all kinds of stuff, okay? If we stayed in when it was raining, we would never go outside during the school year for recess. So, anyway, she always like bought, like, I'm like, where is she getting this money? Like, what? Like, jackets, dresses. Her hair was always pulled super tight into ponytails. That's fine, you know, whatever. This poor little girl, you'll understand. You'll understand when I tell you this story, because you're like, you're kind of being judgmental of this parent. Just hold your horses just a minute. Or you might be thinking that. I don't know what you're thinking. I'm sorry. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I'm just saying, just a minute, because it gets there. So she was always complaining, like, you know, when she would come pick up her daughter, her daughter, for whatever reason, like, she used to try to eat the sand in the sandbox and stuff. I was constantly like, yo, we don't do that. You know, you just, I mean, there are some things, you know, we're not, clean that up. But she would always complain that, like, her boots were dirty, or, you know, her jacket this, or her dress that. And I'm like, that's why I tell you guys to not dress your children like they're going to church when they come to school, because they're going to get dirty. We encourage children to play and to be, you know, explore their surroundings. And that's why we tell you that. Anyway, so this one day, oh shoot, whoops. Where are we with that one? 6:48. How did I miss that? Oh, because I had to do a different bit. This one day, you know, everything's going. She came, dropped off her daughter. Everything seemed to be, you know, normal. Nothing Abby someone. Abby normal. Oh, we're all the way 778. And the day goes by. Okay. Now, our center was open until 6 because we had several different classrooms with different ages, and also with different, we had like a program, we had a couple programs. So the center was open until 6. I got there at 6:30 every morning, and I typically left, what time did I leave work? Around 6, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I worked long hours. Plus, I was in school full time. Oh my gosh, I was so tired. Plus, I had my kids, and I needed to help them with homework and everything. Oh my gosh. Another story, another day. So anyway, everything's fine. And it's like, she normally would pick her up like around 4:30ish. And she didn't show up. And so a little bit of time went by. And, you know, parents are picking up their children. And I'm kind of like, wait a minute. I'm like, did somebody not give me some information here? So I had taken my kids to this huge area that we had in the center that was like this big open playroom, because I had to close my classroom down. And so I took them to this other area where we could play. And it was right by the office. Like I could see the office through the glass doors because we had this huge door that would like lock. Like you couldn't get through unless you were buzzed in. 709, right? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just dropping drills down here left and right. So, 819. I went to the office and I said, hey, is blah, 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 we'll call her M. Is M's mom coming at a different time today, or what's going on? And they're like, not that we are aware of. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm just checking because she's still here. And they're like, oh, that's unusual. Everybody knew everybody. They're like, oh, that's kind of unusual. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I mean, it's not a big deal. Maybe she had planned something different. And they're like, do you want us to try to call her? And I'm like, could you? And they're like, yeah. So they tried calling her, and her phone went to voice message. And so they're like, okay, well, we left her a message. I'm like, thanks, blah, blah, blah. So 5:30 comes. I'm like, go back to the office. I'm like, hey, has there been an update on this at all? Because she's still not here. I mean, I know they knew that because they had to if somebody came, they would have to let them in. So I'm like, she's still not here. Can you just ring her again? And so they did. It went straight to voice message. And this time I stood there because I'm like, I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to see what was going on. So I kind of stood there while they called, and it went straight to voice message. And I'm like, who do we have as like another contact for her? Because at this point it was 5:30 and we can't get a hold of her. We need to allow for some time for somebody else to possibly pick her up. So they were like, okay, we'll look in her file and stuff. So I went back to the kids, and apparently what had happened is they got a hold of Grandma and said, hey, can't get a hold of your daughter. M is still here at the center, which is not normal for, her. We're just wondering if everything's okay. We're not able to get a hold of your daughter at this time. And, we're closing in, I don't know, this time it was like 20 minutes. And Grandma wasn't that far away, luckily. So, she goes, oh, let me try to call her. And we were like, okay, yeah, just try to call her, So she calls back. She's like, yeah, I can't get a hold of her either. And we're like, okay, well, can you, do you mind coming in? Her pickup, her whatever. She's like, yeah. Okay, I did this one right, yeah. So 6 o'clock comes and goes. That's right, because she wasn't able to get there. She wasn't close. She wasn't far, but she wasn't close. So 6 o'clock comes and goes. We're still trying to get a hold of Mom, even though Grandma's on her way, because, well, I'll tell you why. Hold on. Houston, we have it. Okay, here we go. I have 3 842s. So at this point, it is now, wait, did I pick this one? Yeah. It is after 6, and everyone's gone except for me, little girl here, and my director, because we didn't need anybody else. And Grandma shows up. And we're like, were you able to get a hold of her? And she's like, no. We're like, well, we actually are going to have to call the police. And she's like, why? Well, this is called abandonment. You can't just abandon your child. It's illegal. Now that part, I actually did not even know that. Like, I was thinking, well, isn't it okay because Grandma came and got her that, like, I was kind of like, okay, I don't really know, like the director knows, I wouldn't know like that type of, you know, in-depth kind of stuff. So she's like, yeah, I need to make a police report that she didn't come and that she, you know, she didn't come and get her daughter and she just ghosted us. And I'm like, okay. So I went home and the next day, M doesn't come to school. And my director calls me in and she's like, okay, here's what's happening. She goes, her mom is in jail. And I'm like, what is going on? She goes, that day she got pulled over and she had been doing M. It's a 4-letter word, people. 4-letter word. Starts with the letter M. She'd been doing that. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. She said, she got pulled over. She was like not even on her way to the center. She was off somewhere else, like way far away when they caught her. Like I'm like, well, thank God she didn't come and get her then. She's like, right. So now CPS is involved. And unfortunately, when that happens, I have to do it. Yay. Because the director doesn't have all of the, she has some incident reports, but like I have all of the paperwork and incident reports in my computer and paperwork. And so, I had to call CPS and, they made a report. They did not feel the need to come and take a look at her because this wasn't, she didn't have marks or anything like that. It wasn't that type of a call. It was an abandonment call and kind of, you know, neglect type thing. So they didn't need to come to they didn't feel the need to come to the center, but they did feel the need to go make a home visit. So I'm glad that they did that. And eventually, so what happened was she ended up being with the grandma for, oh gosh, a couple months. And, I just felt so bad for this little girl. I just really did. And then when she came back to school, she was just horrible. Like, she wasn't the same. She just, it's like she had been jostled around so much. And I just was, oh my gosh, I felt so bad for her. And she already had issues, like behavioral issues. I don't know. It just made me so sad. Nope. This is a big no. So, yeah. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? It's just the things you see. I had another, here we go. I had another child who, divorced parents, separate households. And the mom had, I think, 3 total kids, I think, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, that was the right decision. And, he always looked rough, this kid, like as far as like, hygiene went. Now, I talked to the mom extensively about this. And she always had like, there was always a reason. She always would say something to the effect of, well, that's because this morning I just picked him up from his dad's. Like, he's been over there. So like, I mean, it wasn't like a daily thing, but it was like, I did have to talk to her. Now, why are these different? Oh, they are slightly different. So it wasn't like daily or anything like that. But so he came in this one day and he's sitting at the table with me and we're doing an activity together. And I had assessments to do. That's what I was doing. I was doing assessments for fine motor skills. And so, okay, oh, this, okay, I've got some in here too. And he said, Miss Remy, he said, I don't like going to my dad's house. And I said, oh, now, for those of you who aren't teachers or therapists, you might not know that when a child starts to say something like that, you absolutely cannot interject into the conversation, because if something were to be going on and it were to go to court, they could argue, well, you manipulated the conversation because you kept interjecting your thoughts into what the child was saying. So when a child starts to open up, you literally have to just sit and listen. You can ask like some questions, but they can't be leading. They have to be like very like, oh, tell me more about that type of thing. And I was just writing everything down. I'm writing everything down, right? Okay, so I don't have this one. And he's like, it was the way he said it. I don't like to go to my dad's house. I don't want to go to my dad's house anymore. I said, oh, that's all I said. And he said something about being over there the last time he was there. And I said, uh-huh. And he said he had a BAT. Wait, can I say that? I can say that. He had a bat. I can say that. And I'm like, oh. And then he started talking about how he would lock him in where you put jackets, where you hang up jackets and stuff. And I'm like, just describe what that looks like to me, because I'm like, there's no way. There's no, please, there's no way. What? And so he did. He described what a closet looked like, and he knew the word for it. He knew that it was a closet. He told me that he would make him stay in there. And he said he HIT'd him with yeah. And I said, oh, show me where that happened. That's all I can say. Can't say anything else. And so he showed me, and he did indeed have a bruise. And I'm like really confused though, because I'm like, if he got hit with like something like that, I would think it would look bigger. I'm not doubting him at all. Okay. When a child tells you something, you better believe them. But I wasn't doubting him. I was just like trying to process it. So he did have a bruise, and he was describing it. And I said, tell me what the BAT looked like. So he did. And I said, oh, okay. And I asked him what room it happened in, things like that. You can't ask them like leading questions, but you can just, so he had he checked off all the boxes, every single one. Check. I mean, a child is not going to be that descriptive and know what it looked like, just all of it. So, I told my assistants, I said, hey, I need to go to the office, but I don't know when I'm going to be back, but I'll be back. They're like, okay. So I went to the director and I said, look, this is what I have. And I said, I'm legitimately concerned because, I basically just described everything to her, what had happened. And she said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to call CPS and let them know, and then let them decide what they want to do with this information. Because I don't feel like at this point, this is out of my, this out of my wheelhouse here. No. So she said, okay, yeah, I agree with that decision. So I did, I called, I made a report. Now this time they wanted to come to the center to speak with me in person. And so they make a report, then they made a time to come see me without the mom being present. And they were very specific to not, you know, do not say anything. And I'm like, okay. So, that happened. So they made the report. They did come in. They took my report in writing from me, my notes. And they observed him. They talked to him. And then they're like, okay, yeah, we feel like we're going to definitely be making a home visit. And I was like, okay. And they're like, I can't remember if they told me when they were going to do it, but I'm pretty sure they did, because they wanted me to be prepared in case anything, you know, came up, or I don't know. So anyway, they did a home visit, and then they got back to me about it, which I didn't think they were going to do. I thought they would just, I don't know what I thought, but I had never gone that far with CPS. So this was like the worst, I think, unless I might be forgetting something, but I think this was the worst scenario that I had had. So, so they did the home visit, all that kind of stuff. And of course, the mom is not happy. I mean, she is fit to be tied. She called. She's like, what happened? You know, because they're not, CPS did not tell her who reported her, the incident. Wait, what am I? Yeah. They didn't tell her who reported the incident. They just told her it was reported from someone at the center. So she was mad. So she was talking to the director, and the director's not giving her any of the information. And she's not telling her who. And so the director called me and said, look, I just want to warn you that she's really upset. So she comes in, you know, she's really upset. And I said, I'll talk to her. She goes, do you want me to be there with you? And I'm like, no, I'll talk to her. I'll tell her that I did it. And she's like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, yeah, she's one of my parents. I'll tell her. And she's like, you don't want me to be there? Now so here was my director's office, and then here's where everybody came in. And then over here, there was a boardroom. So I'm like, I'll just talk to her over there. It'll be fine. She's like, okay. So, when she came in and dropped him off the next time, she kind of started to talk to me about it. And I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you. Can we, you know, I wanted to have it in the boardroom and not in my conference room, because my conference room was in a hallway with it. And it was pretty, not soundproof, but like, yeah, this was a much better place to have it. And I could have at least one door open. So, so I just told her, because she's like, somebody, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, it was me. I called CPS. And she's like, why? And I told her why. I said, because your son came in and, you know, described in detail, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, she was still mad, but she was like, okay. And I told her, I said, I legally, by law, have to report stuff like this. I said, I could lose my teaching license. Like, I literally could lose my teaching license. And, you know, and I'm like, I was basically, it's like, why do I have to convince you as a mom that maybe your ex is doing something? Like, aren't you happy that he's being protected? I don't know. Anyway, people are weird. But she got over it. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, lady. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, I'm just looking at these stickers like, no, I don't want to. Okay, $37.99. Yeah, 30, not, yeah. So yeah, I have so many stories from being a teacher. So many stories. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, maybe I don't have enough room in this baggie. It's just interesting, you know? And that wasn't the only place I taught. I had also taught prior at a private school. That was a completely different experience. Like, so different from, it had the same, that school had the same theory of teaching around social emotional growth, but it was just, yeah, it was very different. So yeah, it was a very hard job. It was very hard. You had to be in the now, in the moment, all the time. I mean, you could not be on. You know what I mean? It's just, it was go, 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 go from the minute your feet hit the floor, waking up, you know, in the morning until you, I mean, there were so many nights. I was just talking to Adam about this. There were so many nights I would come home at like 7, 8 o'clock at night because we had an event or we had, you know, something going on. And I had been there since 6:30 in the morning. I had homework to do, you know, I would come home at 8 o'clock at night and just collapse on the couch. I would fall asleep on the couch. And I didn't mean to, but it was just like, oh my God, I was so tired, you guys. I worked way too hard. Way too hard. Oh, these are mixed. Not that much though. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the hardest job I've ever had. Besides being a mom. Besides being a mom. That's the hardest job, right? I think so. Brain surgeons have it easy. What do they know? Oh, this, no. This is the lighter version. I accidentally put some in here. I can see 38.61. Nope. Yeah, being a mom is crazy, isn't it? Up and down, up and down, up and down with the kids. Oh my gosh. As soon as you think you've caught up to them, they move to the next mature level, and you're just like, wait, huh? What happened now? Where'd you guys go? Children are so fluid, you know, as far as like, oh, well, wouldn't you know it? It's right there. Well, too late now. Okay. Would you guys believe there's no 5,200? 38.66. Well, you guys, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button. There is a new feature on YouTube called the hype button. When you hit that button, it's next to like the share and download button. It helps your favorite creator's channel. So you can do it 3 times a week. Make sure to hit that hype button as well. So yeah, it'll help out my channel. I am working my little honey off here in YouTube land to grow my channel. So yeah, with that, you guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. And I am going to, I think I'm going to start getting into a schedule again, maybe, and try to schedule lives, get back into that, and see what happens, see if that works out again. It was just getting to be too much for me. So I don't know. I think I might reevaluate that. And with that, you guys, loves.